don't have butter, no eggs, no dairy, no flours, correct? No grains.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
what else?
we actually eat grains. We eat wheat and corn, and it's similar to what. Yes, it's similar to what we sprout it all, and so there's, if you were to look in our fridge, it's always full of some new sprouted corn or sprouted rice. There's sprouts everywhere. And Adam T, he will make a drink about every single day that is, it's all living, and it's what we call the living drink that really gives fullness and life, and it's full of every nutrient that you could have in the grains, and back to the basics of getting your protein. People say, well, is there protein in that? And it's filled with protein, and it's got all your amino acids and all your basics.
So what do you have for your protein? Do you do quinoa or other?
Yes, we have quinoa, and but the one thing that we've learned is sprouting is an amazing experience, and we've done this for years and years and years. So, but yes, quinoa and amaranth, and there's just so many different seeds that, sunflower seeds, and then we've got our whole grains and our whole foods. We eat a sourdough bread that's organic. And a lot of people would say, well, that would have gluten in it. The reason that we have had so many issues, we feel, about all that's happening in our society is for years and years and years, we have not been preparing our grains right.
Correct.
And then we go and pesticides are everywhere, and that's why we've all woken up and are waking up to labels now everywhere you go is about GMO and no pesticides, which have really played havoc upon our genetics and why we all have it creates diseases. And it's been going on for many, many years. And so it's in the ancient way of living, they actually did not do breads the way that we do breads now. There's not all the additives and just all of that. But a sourdough bread actually is a starter, and there's not yeast in it. There's no yeast.
Which is great.
And then
so do you make that, Deborah?
No, we actually can go to our local grocery store, and we found that we always look for sourdough breads anywhere we go, like at Whole Foods or Natural Grocers. I don't mind saying that. And there's, local baker. This is at a store here in southern Utah and throughout Utah, and they have a starter, and they do it every day, and they have sourdough bread, and they've made it organic. So we always ask them, I'll even call them every now and then and make sure, what's your ingredients, because we're always looking at every ingredient that we have, especially when we have come to know that we're alive, because we become so sensitive that if we do this, it wouldn't make us feel good, or it's, we wouldn't, and people say, how could you become so sensitive? Well, I'm happy to be alive. So when we come to some type of a crisis in our lives, which happens to so many in America, it's back to health. And health is what we eat. It's our exercise. It's our water. It's everything.
Right.
So food is medicine. So
absolutely.
So that's what I feel is bringing us all back to this way of thinking, a new way of being. We talk about it a lot on our show, but it's because we eat this way, and it becomes sacred. But we say everyone, whatever we put in our mouth, every bite is very sacred to everyone. It doesn't matter what it is. Right?
And I think that is so important when we're eating. So many of us have gone through our lives where you're just rushing and you're eating and it may taste great, but you're really not conscious of, the average person, conscious of what they're putting in their mouth as live food to soothe and feed the live body. And if everyone took a moment and just, they don't have to say anything, just consciously know what you're eating and feel blessed that you're eating this beautiful food.
It is.
We only have a couple of minutes before our break, but could you speak to how important water is to you and Adam T. and the family? Because I can't say enough about water, flushing, the impurities, but speak to that, please, for a minute and a half.
For a minute, and then, yes, water is life, and we hear that so much, and water has, the purity of the water does clean our bodies, and it has nutrients and this fullness of life. So in our family, we have, for over 20 years, wherever we can find the purest water, we will go and take our great big bottles that we have and go and fill them up from a spring. Well, for about 10 years now, we found a spring that is just absolutely in the most majestic mountains. We drive it takes us about 45 minutes to get up to the mountain. It's just so majestic, and the water it comes out really deep, and it's at a park where other people go and they come and they bring their bottles, and we all go to this spring in this park and get our water, and it's fresh. And when you taste the difference, it is beyond comparable to still water or water that is polluted. And
yes. So and filled with chemicals and fluoride. A lot of the towns, even here in Massachusetts, are filled with all these things. And then if you think about it, people are throwing their medications away, and that goes into the water system, and you're getting pieces of that in your own body. So it's between all the different impurities, the pesticides, the air, and all the things we ingest. It's no wonder that so many people have different diseases and illnesses and such, or they just don't feel good, period. So with that said, everyone, we need to take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment. We're going to be talking about some other items that Debara and Adam T. eat on a daily basis and some recipes, which are fun. So we'll be back.
Take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Debara Bruhn on the Love by Intuition Show, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Eastern. Our message is love in the purest form. The light within us all is a guide to recall our beginning, to learn to love self and humankind, and to feel the higher power of our own divinity. To attract love, one needs to be love. Come join us and step into this glorious vibration called love.
Looking for a fun and relaxing getaway? Omega Rest and Rejuvenation Retreats are a great way to unwind and renew your spirit. Stroll through the garden, relax by the lake, or try a daily yoga or movement class. You can stretch your body, quiet your mind, and do as much or as little as you choose. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we are back. You're listening to the Love by Intuition show. You can hear it Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Time, just by going on Dream Vision 7. It's Dream Visions, the number 7, radio.com. Get our app. Get Amazon's Echo, and you're good to go to listen wherever you are. The Love by Intuition show is live, usually at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesdays, maybe not every one, but 3 out of 4. And we are with Debara Bruhn Towt, and we're talking about a plant-based diet and really getting into taking care of your body. And I wanted to talk about a few different things that you ingest, and I wanted to mention that myself, I'm probably about between 80-85% organic. However, I do eat meat, not as much, mostly chicken. And so for people out there that's saying, where do I start? What would you say, Debara, like going to the grocery store, where do they start to I think it's important to maybe start looking in your cupboards and seeing exactly what you have and what you grab and buy, how many boxes of such, and what ratio it is to fresh fruit and vegetables. But where would you share, how would you share, where do they start?
Well, the first place that I found in getting anything started is just the kindness to yourself, and saying this is a journey, and I'm going to first find out, just like you're saying. I'm going to go to the grocery store, and I would say start looking for the labels on foods, which a lot of us have done over the years. And the thing about the produce in the grocery store, you're going to start looking for organic. You can start asking for it too. You know, maybe some places don't have organic, and so you can say, I would like to have more organic. And in your produces, the one thing that's a really fun thing for me, a lot of people do love smoothies. And so It's fun to start with a smoothie in the morning and finding some yummy things that you really like, and just being with that wonderful taste buds of what would really make me happy. Because what we're doing is we're incorporating and being happy to give ourselves the opportunity, again, to be kind to ourselves, to nurture ourselves. Well, food is very nurturing. And we have all these thoughts of maybe I'm not going to get my protein, I'm not getting enough this, I'm not getting enough that. And what we're here to say is that in your organic, there's no pesticides, and in your produce, food is medicine. And your growers it locally, when you can find, especially in the summer, springtime, right? But in growing your own, just saying, can I do that? Where would I even begin? There's so many places, but the first is, number one, is to be kind to yourself. And start looking for things. You can Google anything, and you can start right there from your own home, looking up things about what's even happening now in 2019. Of course, we have we feel a wonderful curriculum at the Second Genesis Awakenings radio show at thehumanaccelerator.com. We're there to help you in any way. There's a lot of videos that you can watch, and just a new thinking I also, Deborah, wanted to